Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everything is going well. I wanted to do a follow-up video to my Andy Hoffman SGT report video. In that video, I talked about the falling out between those two guys. Andy Hoffman used to come on SGT's program all the time. And in that video, I talked about how somebody told me that SGT may have been getting paid by Miles Franklin. And in that video comment section, SGT pointed out that in a polite way, he wasn't rude or anything like that. So that's good to hear. But he was saying that I had a relationship with Miles Franklin, and now it's with SD Bullion. And like on the videos, I see like he points out SD Bullion, links out to SD Bullion. So it's out in the open. I have no problem with it as long as you are saying that, hey, I have this business relationship or partnership with so-and-so, and it's fine, right? So there's no conflict of interest when you are actually disclosing it. Now, when you don't disclose it, that becomes a problem. And that's what this video is going to be about. So, SGT did a video, I think it was a week ago, and he talked about Andy Hoffman interview in August. And Andy Hoffman in that interview stated that, hey, I still have my silver and my gold. But then Sean pointed out in an interview that Andy Hoffman had, I think it was in November, with I think Daniel Crush the Street. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was with him. Anyways, in that interview, Hoffman mentioned that he got rid of the silver in summer. So summer could be vague. It could be early summer, it could be late summer. But then, going back to that Andy Hoffman SGT report video, Andy Hoffman said that he had all of his silver and he didn't plan on getting rid of it. Or that's what it looked like. And then all of a sudden, we find out in the November video, he doesn't have all of his silver now. So this gets to an important topic. Now, whenever you're listening to someone in the alternative media or the mainstream media, and they're pushing these stocks or a commodity or asset, you need to, number one, realize they may not be disclosing all their positions. They may not have the best intentions in your mind, right? Despite what all of us used to think at one point or the other. I think it's just a common sense thing, but I'll tell you a story about one of my futures brokers, right? He was not allowed to deal with stocks or talk about stocks. And if he was talking about stocks, he had to make disclosures. And he apparently was being paid by a company to pump up a stock on Fox Business News. And he wound up in a lot of trouble because of that. So in the securities world, right, there are very strict rules. But when it comes to the Bitcoin, silver, and gold, right, there aren't as strict rules as you have with these stocks. So because of this loophole, I follow these individuals, right, some smaller YouTube channels, and they talked about, hey, there's no regulation with that. I know there are a lot of libertarians saying, like, just hell with regulation. But if you don't believe in regulation, we need to be very careful in who we get our news from. And if Andy Hoffman was very fond of gold and silver and then said that, no, I dumped my silver in the summertime, you need to ask yourself who is honest in the alternative media and who's dishonest. And that's the hardest thing to do. And not to get the president involved in this discussion, but Donald Trump, one thing he does good is he takes opinion of a lot of people. Right? That doesn't mean he makes decision based on one person. In the end, the decision is his own. And he's talked about this in his book. Roger Stone has talked about it in his book as well. That's the same thing you got to do depending on your level of expertise in the financial markets, right? Do your own research, right? Listen to a lot of people, read a lot of books, and make your decision off of that. And that's the best way to go about that. And one other story about Hoffman, I don't remember if I talked about in the last video, but I know this one guy. I'm going to keep his identity. I won't reveal his identity, but he talked about how he confronted Andy Hoffman on some of the stories that he was talking about. And Andy Hoffman apparently got really pissed at this guy. And he had sent this guy emails that were in a brash manner. And it just seems that, long story short, Mr. Hoffman may have been doing marketing work for Miles Franklin, but it appears, based on his interviews with the SGT report and from what the individual that told me, is that he may have not believed the stories to the extent that he did, or as he may have stated. Once again, this is an opinion. I'm not saying that this is a fact. So I just want to make that clear, right? Because once again, you have to be careful in what you're saying. You don't want any litigation or whatnot. But long story short, key lesson, just whenever you're listening to an interview on YouTube or even mainstream media, just take a note of what they're saying. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own investment decisions, and that's why you need to spend hours and hours of doing your own due diligence. So those are my thoughts. Leave your thoughts below and tell me what you think. Thanks, guys. Bye.